Hey guys, we're going to do a core blast workout today, so it'll be 20 minutes of good core work. If you feel like you need to warm up first, jump some rope, jog for a couple minutes, do some jumping jacks, things like that, you can pause the video and come back when you're ready. If everybody else is ready to go, then we'll just get started. So I'm going to have a timer going like we usually do. The only tool that you'll need, if you have a band, great. If not, don't worry about it. Body weight will be just fine, but just in case you have the option, sometimes it's nice to use stuff if you have it at home. So we're gonna get ready and start in a plank position, push-up position. Okay, so everything that we'll do, we're gonna do 3 sets of 20 seconds with 10 seconds of rest in between. So it's gonna be rapid fire, changing exercises pretty quick as we go. So get ready to be in that push-up position. Hands are gonna be kind of wider apart than your shoulders, and we're tapping side to side. So notice my feet are narrow and I'm controlling my sideways momentum, right? So you're not pushing off and falling into one hand. Technically, I could balance on one hand and stop if I wanted to. Good, and rest. So take a little stretch back. I know planks always kind of wear my shoulders out. Get ready again and come back up. So same thing. If you want to make this harder, hands get wider apart. Make sure you're breathing and not holding your breath, and keep that core tight, right? So your butt shouldn't be sticking up or sagging down. Take a little break, rest, breathe. So our last set of these coming up. And here we go. So this is our last set of side to side taps. We're gonna take a quick breather and go into shoulder taps. So I've got things kind of broken down into sections. So we've got some plank work, some work on our back, and then some work flipped over in a seated type position as well. All right. So shoulder taps, right? Hands can narrow up. We're still in that push-up position, but this time we're alternating tapping the shoulders. If you want to do plank from your knees, you can. That's always an option. But getting ready to start over in that plank position. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and bring it up, right? So shoulder taps, the goal is to stay as controlled, and I'm not doing a great job today, and flat as you can, right? So you're not rolling to tap your shoulder. Your hips are staying relatively level. Good, stretch it back, take a break. Oh, and back up again for set 2 of those shoulder taps. So you notice I've spread my feet out a little bit. If you're really struggling with that side to side movement, widening the feet is a good way to accommodate that and keep yourself a little more level. And drop. Breathe, relax, rest. Let those shoulders get some air. Get ready. Last set, shoulder taps coming back up. Looking good, guys. Woo, keep breathing. Like I said, my shoulders always start burning on plank stuff. And rest. Okay, so the next one we're gonna do, still working from a plank position. We're gonna do knees to elbows, but we're gonna slow things down. You're gonna hold for 2 counts before you bring your foot back. So it's not a mountain climber. It's a lot slower than that, which really makes it a little bit more difficult, especially that core squeeze, to be able to keep that knee forward towards the elbow. So I'm gonna change my side so you can see what I'm doing now, going sideways, see in profile. But same thing, going 20 seconds. Each side you're holding for 2 counts. So we'll count you through it, don't worry. Getting ready, and up we go. So it's 1, 2, 1, 2. Right? So you get a little extra squeeze. It's not just a kick it up and back. And almost there. Good. Drop, relax. Take a breath or two. Get ready. 3, 2, 1, and back up. Squeeze it up. Make sure you're not cheating yourself. Hold it for that extra second. Get a good squeeze out of that middle. And good, rest. So 20 seconds are nice. It's a good interval for core work, and it doesn't seem like you're there forever and ever. Last set of these, guys. I like 20-second intervals for a lot of things. You've probably seen that. We've done some Tabata work. Make sure as that knee comes forward that you're not dropping your hips too low. Ooh, all right. Take a breather. And we're just going to move into some side planks. So side planks, we're going to do 2 on each side, but we're alternating sides. So you'll flip-flop in between during that 10-second break. Side planks can be any version. You guys can be on your hand, elbow, full out on the toes, or feet rather, or you can drop that bottom knee if you need. If you want to make it harder, float that top leg. Just make sure the hips don't sink down as that top leg comes up. Okay, so getting ready for side plank. Doesn't matter to me what side you start with, but remember it's a 20-second hold. And up. So make sure shoulder, hip, everything's nice and straight. My hips aren't pitched back, right? So I want to push, give the glutes a little squeeze so everything's nice and long. And bring that hip down. We're going to switch the sides. The floating arm, I'm not too concerned with what you're doing with that. Whatever makes sense or whatever's just not in your way. Getting ready and up on this side. Same thing. Remember, don't pitch those hips back. Give them a little push forward. So if you need a little glute squeeze, to remind you to do that. So everything's in a nice straight line. 3, 2, 1, good, and down. Switch it around again. All right, almost there. Up one more time on this side. So like I said, if you need a more challenging version of this, that top leg comes up. I'm just going to stick with the regular version, but that's totally up to you. Whatever you need this morning. And relax. Switch it around. Last time on this side. And here we go. So last 20 seconds in side plank. Remember, a nice straight line shoulder to hip especially. So make sure those hips aren't bent, folded back. Keep them pushed forward. Keep that bottom hip nice and high off the ground. Almost there. And down. Good. All right. So we're transitioning onto the back. So similar to the knees to elbows, we're going to go into some bicycle crunches, but it's going to be a 2 count. So slowing down a little bit, holding that knee to elbow for an extra second rather than just real quick kicking in and out. Adds a little bit more intensity, a little bit bigger squeeze. So getting ready, get yourself flipped over. And here we go. So it's 1, 2, 2. So get as much out of that extra hold as you can. Don't cheat yourself just because you want to move faster. Slowing down can be a good thing. And rest. Take a few nice deep breaths. Let your abs relax before you start over. Getting ready, 3, 2, 1, back up for 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Make sure you're breathing as you go through your set. Good, relax and breathe, relax those abs. Getting ready for that last set coming up. Here we go. So again, really make sure you hold on for that extra second. Don't cheat yourself out of a little bit of work. That squeeze is good. Might not be comfortable, but comfort isn't what gets you places, right? All right, so we're coming up. Take a quick rest. And we're moving on. So next one's gonna be a double crunch. So a full stretch out and then both knees to both elbows at the same time, basically, right? So starting back on the back, you can either do this from a bent leg position or a straight leg position. Bent leg's kind of a modified situation. So if you're having trouble keeping your back, keeping your spine set, if things are rocking and rolling too much, then start here rather than here. Pulling up a straight leg can be a tough lever, especially if you're maybe not as strong as you'd like to be, or if you're already getting fatigued. So get ready, timer's going, and start. So knees to elbows in the middle, kick it out, bring it in. So as the legs go out, you notice I'm not lowering way far down. I'm not coming back down to the floor. This is where I can keep my spine neutral. So if I set my legs back down to the floor, it's probably going to pull my back into an extension that I don't want to go to, okay? Because after a while, that's probably not going to feel real good. Starting over. Make sure you're breathing, especially on that stretch out, that hold here. Make sure you've got control over all of that. Good, relax, breathe. If your neck is starting to get tired, you can always leave the head down on the ground, or you can support on the back of the head with the hands. Just make sure you're not pulling on the neck, right? The core is what's doing the work. Okay, take a little breather. So moving on into a hollow body hold. So similar position to that stretched out position that we just did with the double crunch. You can do it with straight legs, you can do it with bent legs. If you're doing it with bent legs, a couple things to notice before we get into our sets. If you're doing it here, so hollow body means you're scooped out, right? So my shoulders are up, and my legs are up somehow. So this is bent leg version. Make sure that your knees aren't up here. I don't really have to hold a lot here because my knees are tucked in towards my chest. This isn't very hard at all. So if you're gonna do bent knees, just pick your feet straight up off the floor a couple inches. That's all that you need to do. If you're doing straight legs, just be aware of your angle, right? So you can start up here. Down here is going to be the hardest, right? The further down towards the floor you go, the harder it is. And you can always change for each set. So, getting ready. And here we go. Bring it up. Again, make sure you can breathe. It's 20 seconds. If you can't breathe, then you need to modify. That doesn't mean that it's going to make it too easy. It just means that you've got better control. And relax. Alrighty. So looking good on hollow bodies. I'm going to do a set with bent knees this time, so you can mix and match. And just because my legs are bent doesn't mean this is a whole lot easier. I can still feel that squeeze down in the middle. right? So don't feel like you're cheating yourself out of anything if you're not doing a straight leg. 3, 2, 1. Whew. So quick 10-second rest. Use that to catch your breath. This last set, I'm going to go back to straight legs, but I'm going to have my legs a little bit higher than I did on that first set. So notice I'm scooped out. I'm not pushed out, right? So I can breathe with things engaged and kind of tucked in there. 3 seconds, almost there, guys. And relax. Good job. Okay. So last one on the back is just going to be a crunch that we're pulsing up. So normally crunches, you're coming all the way up, curling the shoulder blades off the floor and all the way back down. This pulse, you're going to keep those shoulder blades off the floor. You're pulsing that last maybe inch of the range of motion. So that's all it's going to be. It's not huge and it doesn't need to be. So 20 seconds of pulsing. Hands can do whatever you like them to do. So whether that's across the chest or behind the head or reaching forward for some folks, either one of those is fine. Just pick a version and get ready. So here we go. And crunch it up. So you can see my shoulder blades are off the floor. I'm not rolling all the way back down flat. Just maybe an inch of range of motion. Really hanging on, relax to that lifted position. So if your hands behind the head and you still need a little more challenge, hands straight back. So making that lever longer, now you've got to pull a bigger area. And relax. Looking good, guys. So we got one more set of this pulse to go. I'm going to go back to my hands behind the head. I like that version. It gives my head a little bit of support so my neck's not getting too tired. But notice my elbows are open. I'm not yanking on my head. So my abs are doing the work. All right. Okay, so the last couple things we're going to do, we're going to transition into working on the back because all of that stuff is still part of the core. So we've got 2 exercises that are going to target that area. One's going to be on the ground. The other one's going to be standing. That's where the band will come in, but I'll explain that in a little while. So sitting yourself up from the position that you were just in, you can have feet flat on the floor and bent. Hands are going to rest out behind you, okay? Or you can have feet straight out, okay? This is going to be a little bit harder than this. So you're going to be pressing the hips up off the ground. It's going to be a combination of some squeeze from the back muscles and some squeeze from the hip muscles. Okay, so it's a nice, smooth, don't go too fast, right? Up and down of the hips off the ground as high as you can get them. So getting ready. And here we go. I'm doing straight leg version, so it's just up, hold it for a second, and down. If your shoulders are really tight, you can widen the arms out. And that may take some of the pressure off. Good, and bring it down, take a rest. So these might not feel like a whole lot. If you want to make them a little harder, what you can do is alternate and press through one leg at a time, and that's quite challenging. I even feel that a little bit down into my hamstring when I do it. I'm not concerned about that, so I'm just going to stick with my double leg version and rest. Take a few nice deep breaths there. Let the shoulders relax. Shoulders get a lot of mobility with something like this because we're pressing up out of the chest. So think of not only the back, the lower back working, but the upper back. So you squeeze your shoulder blades back as you press up. Good, all right, and relax. So this last one is gonna be, if you've ever done deadlifts, if you've ever done something called a good morning, it's gonna be similar position to that, but we're holding that flexed position. So the flexed position, the idea is all your muscles across your back kind of keep your spine in place, right? It maintains whatever posture you're trying to maintain. So standing up, I'm gonna get into kind of like a flexed forward position here. For some of you, holding this for 20 seconds might be enough. So notice my spine is flat, I'm not here, I'm not here. I'm nice and long. So if you're struggling with that, find yourself a broomstick. So I'll show you. I've got a nice little PVC rod here. So you're gonna put this along your back so it touches the back of your head, between your shoulder blades, and kind of down around your tailbone. And then with this, without losing those touch points, bow forward, okay? And that's how you're gonna know that you've maintained a good position. So you can always hold that there the whole time. If you really struggle to know where that position is and you need a little feedback, if you don't, that's fine too. So this is where I said if you have a band, you can use that, okay? So getting a little bit extra pull down towards the floor that you've got to resist. So there's a couple different situations here. If you're just gonna hold, you can do hands on hips, you can do hands at the head, or you can do hands out front. Obviously, hands out front is gonna be the toughest. I've got my band, so I'm gonna stand on my band, and I'm gonna do hands next to my head, but now I've got extra resistance to hold against. So everyone get ready. Same thing, we're gonna do 20 seconds of holding. So here I am, right? So my butt's kind of shot back behind me. My back is nice and flat. The band is pulling me forward, and so all those back extension muscles have to work. Good, and relax. Breathe. So I'll do a set without the band so you can see a different version. So coming forward, I've just got hands out. So again, that long lever still creates a lot of resistance that you've got to pull against. Being able to maintain position, keep that neutral spine, is what we're working on. And up, good. I'm gonna go back to my band for the last set. So if you like the band, but you want an even harder option, hands straight out with the band. This is gonna be your hardest. Notice I'm probably not bent as far forward as I was in the last two sets. It's because this is quite challenging. It's a lot to hold on to. 3, 2, 1. All right. So there you go, guys. A quick, nice, easy 20-minute core blast today. A lot of different things that we worked on. Like I said, if you have a band, great. If not, there's plenty of options, plenty of things you can do. If you still want a little extra weight, grab some canned goods or a jug of water. That might be a little heavy, right? But holding something like that between two hands, stretch it straight out, and that'll still give you a little bit of resistance. Have fun, and we'll see you soon.